Okay, welcome. So here's an introduction to Final Cut, Final Cut Express and Final Cut Pro. So Final Cut is one of the industry standard editing software programs, tends to be used across the board in a lot of video marketing industries, movie production, music video production, and while it seems complicated, it really is quite a simple program you can teach yourself in a relatively short amount of time. I'll be demonstrating with Final Cut Express. Pro and some other versions of Final Cut are pretty much the same, so this introduction on Final Cut Express should be able to work across the board. So after you've installed the program, just double click it to open. Try not to be too overwhelmed by the screens that you see. It's quite a harsh program to look at, but really, like I said, after you get used to it and you make mistakes and you learn, it really can become quite simple. So I'm going to try and keep this quite a bare bones introduction, the basics you'll need to get going. So we have an empty project here. This is our timeline. This is where we're going to actually build our video. This is where our clips and all of our files, image files, audio files that we import that we want to be in our video will be stored. Then we have a viewer here, which we will probably be using the majority of the time when we edit clips. And this final screen here, which we can expand, is our preview screen. So the screens you can play around with and expand to make bigger. You can drag them if you want to move them. So I've made some sample clips that I'm going to put in. Now they're not really about anything, they're in no particular order, but we'll just be using them today to demonstrate. So to put clips in, whether you're importing from an SD card, from your camera or any other external source, you click File, Import, and Files. Okay. This is my sample clips folder that I've got. I'll just put these into the project and they'll appear here in a little preview. This is a screen grab. I think it's from the first frame of every screen that you can use just to see what your clip is. It's got the name of the clip and the duration. So this is 6 seconds and this is 1 minute 19 seconds. Okay, so the first thing I'll show you is how to put one of these clips into your timeline to play it. There's a number of ways of doing it, and you'll probably, if you're watching another tutorial, see another way, but this is what I use, and I found this to be the simplest way to do it if you're either new to video editing or you're converting from another editing program. So I'm just going to take this clip here of a cell phone. So you literally drag and drop, pick the clip up, drag it into your timeline. Now you'll see an arrow, little black arrow, that's going to be sideways, down, and down again. You want to make sure that that's pointing down in order to import the clip properly. So you drag across and down. Just let go, just click yes on anything that comes up. We now have that clip in our timeline, and we can go through and we can play that clip. Now you can either play the clip through using the play and reverse and rewind buttons here, or you can use your spacebar, which I find simplest. That's what I tend to use. That's just personal preference. Again, you'll create habits as and when you expand your knowledge of Final Cut. That's how you import files. Okay, to import another file next to it, let's take a clip of a chef who's chopping.
Place them, and this will be my chop.
Okay, what we'll do is the same thing. We'll drag and we'll just drop it into the timeline. Now, we need it to join up to the previous clip, so what we need to make sure we get, if I drag it over, you'll just see, if I'm going to move my playhead, you'll just see some arrows appearing there. See those little arrows appearing in between the two clips? That's what you need. If you leave the clip here, which you can by all means do, what you'll notice, sorry, I'm just going to bring the correct screen up here. What you'll notice is
place them, and
there's some black, which we don't want. So in order to get a seamless join, you grab the clip, you drag it until those arrows appear, and then you release. What you now have is a clip with a seamless join.
Place them, and this will be my...
Okay, so that's how you kind of import and you join clips up. Now just say we want to make a clip longer or shorter. So I've got my first clip, I'm putting this clip in, but I want to take it in and out from a different point that it's at currently. I can just hit play and I can find where I want to start the clip.
Place them, and this will be my...
So I want to start the clip here. So what I simply do is drag the end and drag it in. I've made the clip shorter, and if I want to end the clip
chopped basil.
Here, I do the same thing. I just drag and I release. I can then join it back up to the previous clip. And I've got a shorter cut clip.
Chopped basil.
Okay. Putting in a transition is very simple on Final Cut. Sometimes plain breaks like this. Those two clips aren't really joined. There's nothing, one is someone on a cell phone and one is a chef chopping. No real distinguishing factor between them. So no seamless kind of theme between them. So we need to have something that will distinguish it as, well, this is a separate clip. So we'll put a transition in. Now transitions are very simple. Click in between the two clips. You then got this little highlighted area. Okay. You then just want to go to Effects, Video Transitions, and then you can choose which one you want to put in. Now the standard one I tend to use is Cross Dissolve. This is a very common television transition which looks something like this.
Chopped basil.
So it's kind of a fade. So just to take that again, I'll show you everything twice. Go to your joining point, click, on your left click, you'll see this. You then go to Effects, Video Transitions, and then we can choose one. Let's just take another one at random and let's see how this one looks.
Chopped basil.
There is another way to put them in. Cross Dissolve, you tend to find, is the standard TV themed kind of transition. Final Cut actually have this one preset, so you can do it without needing to go into the effect menu. The way to do that is to left click, not right, sorry, to right click, not left click, over the join point. And then simply hit Add Transition Cross Dissolve. That's just a preset Final Cut have put. I think Final Cut realised that a lot of people just use Cross Dissolve. So rather than making them every time left click, Effects, Video Transitions, Dissolve, Cross Dissolve, they've made it really simple by right clicking and hitting Cross Dissolve. So if you can use that, that's the easiest way. I'm sure as well that you can change the settings, so if you have one that you use all the time, you can have that as the preset. But this is a basic video and I'm not going to go into doing that here. I'll admit, because I don't know how. Okay, so that's the one way of putting in a transition. So I'm going to put the transition back in. Now what if I want to adjust the transition length? So actually this is a bit long.
And this will be my...
I want to make that shorter. Again, very, very simple. I'm going to double click the transition and this screen will appear. It's then a case, now this little grey bit here, this is your top clip, which is our clip of the cell phone. The bottom clip is the second clip, our clip of the chef. The middle bit is our transition, so we can simply drag the transition to the required length. So let's make it a lot shorter, and you'll see the difference in this video now.
My chop.
Or we can make it longer. So we'll drag this out nice and wide, and you'll see it's a lot longer.
Place them, and this will be my chopped basil.
Okay. So that is adjusting the length of a transition. That's your basic video editing tools, but we're now going to move into something perhaps a little more, not complicated, but a little more advanced. Now I'm going to delete the transition. I'm just going to explain this with a bunch of clips without transitions, just to keep it simple. We're going to talk about what we need to do now if we want to delete an audio track. So just to talk you through, this is our video on top in blue. The green bits are our two audio tracks, stereo audio. If we want to delete these, if you notice, if I click it and I hit delete, it automatically takes the video with it, which we don't want to do. So if you just want to delete audio, we can actually lock the video track so that any edits we then make will not affect that track. So the way to do that is to hit the lock button next to the track here. You'll get these kind of zebra crosshairs going over that. That is now locked. I can now go ahead and I can highlight and I can delete my audio. Okay. So I've now got a clip that is silent. I'm just going to, again, drag this over. And I've got a clip that is silent. That's a good handy little tool. I'm going to put those back just to demonstrate something else. What would happen now if I wanted to change the volume? Okay, so I want to change the volume of this clip here, where we have the basil being chopped.
Chopped basil.
Gets a little bit quiet. I'd like to make it louder. The way I do that is I go to the audio track here. Remember, not the video track. Go to the audio track. I'll lock the video for now. Always, if you're going to work on audio, always lock the video. It's just a fail-safe. If you make a mistake, at least you won't take the video with it. Go to the audio track. Double-click on it. Okay, and now we'll open up our audio editor. Now, the first thing you need to make sure with every clip is that you have this pan in the middle. That will make it a proper stereo track, and it'll distribute the audio equally among any external speakers that your viewer has. This is our level at the top. This is our master volume, which, as you can see, is currently set kind of 2/3 of the way up, and it sounds like this.
Chopped basil.
I want to make it louder, so I'm literally going to drag it up, and you'll notice the difference.
Chopped basil.
Or we can lower it.
Chopped basil.
Okay, so we'll just leave that there. That's how to change the audio.
Chopped basil.
Now I'm going to explain something a little bit more complicated. And to do this, I'm just going to delete all the video and I'm going to leave one clip. So we have this clip of a chef pressing a vegetarian burger together. Looks like this. This is the raw clip as it comes out of the camera.
Nice and round. Flat enough, you want them to cook through. So you don't want them too thick.
Okay, what we want to do with this clip, we want the audio to, almost like a wave, we want the audio to vary in length. We want to make it go up at the beginning and down at the end. Now the way we do this is a little more complicated. If you ever want to, as an aside, if you ever want to work on fine points of your Final Cut project, if you just drag and drop this here, we can zoom in. So I'm going to now drag and drop so I have virtually the whole clip in view. Doesn't mean the clip's any longer, it's just my view of it is bigger. I want a curve. I want my audio to come up, level, and down. So what I'm going to do is, see these boxes at the bottom? We're going to click this one, which will toggle our clip overlays. You'll then see this is our volume. Okay. If we drag the volume down, this is another way of adjusting your volume. It's a little more complicated. This grey line is our 0 decibels. This is our regular volume. So I want to leave it there. But I want this curve. I want it to come up and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the pen. I'm going to put an edit point at the beginning and an edit point at the end. Then I'm going to put 2 more edit points. I'm going to put one where I want my sound curve to end and where I want it to start again, which is here. Okay, now watch what I can then do. If I grab the bottom, I can drag it down. See that curve appearing? And I can drag it down here. Okay. Now listen how that sounds now. Rather than having a constant volume, we'll have a fade in and a fade out.
Nice and round. Flat enough, you want them to cook through. So you don't want them too thick.
Okay, that's quite a professional way of starting and ending your video. That's how to put a curve in your audio. Now, before you continue editing, you need to make sure you click off the overlay toggle and you want to come away from this pen and you want to go back to your little arrow. Okay. The next thing that we're going to look at is overlaying. So say, this is going to make no sense by the way, but just say in the middle of this clip, I've deemed it necessary to put a picture of me on the cell phone. And I want to put that in the middle of the clip of the chef. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. I'm going to take the clip, just going to delete my audio, so I lock it, I delete the audio. I'm going to edit the clip to the length I want, which for kind of demonstration purposes is going to be quite short. And I need to work out now, where do I want that over my original clip? So I want it over the first part. I'm literally going to just drag that clip over. Now what Final Cut will do, it'll always play and give priority to what is on top. So the higher we build this little pyramid of clips, the thing on top is what gets priority. So watch what happens now.
Around. Flat enough you want them to cook through.
Now that is ideal if you're doing an interview, for example, and you want to make a cutaway of the person's hands moving or the person's flicking through a book or something. That's a good way of doing it. So you can just drag, and I can put it wherever I want. I can drag it here if I'd rather have it there. Okay, so that's how to overlay. And you can, just to take you one step further, we can overlay as many times as we want. If I go up and I add a new track, and I now decide that over the top of that, I want a scene of a kitchen timer. Ignore what I'm doing here, I'm just whipping through this for comparison. It's for demonstration purposes. I want a little clip of a kitchen timer. Okay, I can overlay that over the image of the cell phone. Here. Now watch how that plays. We have a little pyramid here. Watch how that plays out.
Thick.
Looks a bit confusing, but you get the gist.
Thick.
So that's how to overlay. Now we're coming to the end here. I'm just going to show you a couple of quick, these are again more advanced things, but things I'm sure you'll probably need to use at some point. We're going to look now at how we speed up and reverse footage. So let's use this footage of some soup being poured into a bowl. I'm going to delete the audio just so it's not confusing anything here. This is my audio, my video clip here. Excuse me here, I'm just moving it down. Okay, so we've got a scene here of soup being poured into a bowl. But to be honest, it's a little slow. I need to speed this up because I need to fit this clip in my video, and it's currently, 5 seconds long. I need it to be about 3 seconds. Just to highlight the clip, go to sequence. Sorry, ignore that. Go to modify and go to speed. Okay, it's playing at 100% so far. Let's make that 200%. Okay. Watch now, we've now sped that up. Okay, take it one step further if we want to. Let's just, for fun, go to 400%. Excuse me, let me bring the correct preview screen up for you. There you go, quite a nifty little effect you can use. Okay, to delete that, I'm going to put the clip back in its original form. Again, I'm going to lock it, delete my audio. You don't have to delete the audio on every clip you're putting in. I'm just doing that so you can hear me and not the audio. We now look how we reverse this clip. So again, we highlight it. Same thing, modify and speed, but we click reverse. Watch now, that clip's going to play backwards. Okay. That's how to reverse a clip. Let's look at zooming. So just say I've just got this clip here and I want to make a funky little shot of the soup going into the spoon almost. So I'm going to trim my clip. I want the clip to end there. But when I filmed, unfortunately it was a little wide here and I want to have more of a shot of the soup and the spoon. So highlight the clip, click image and wireframe, and I can now drag and I can move my clip about to wherever I want it. Watch how that looks. It's a pretty funky little shot, isn't it? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it one step further. We're going to go to modify, we're going to go to speed, and I'm going to play it at 40% of its original speed. Now watch how that looks now. This should look a little different from our original clip. Here we go. Okay, so you can see there what we've done. We can speed up, we can even reverse, and we can click image and wireframe, and we can drag around the size and the location of our clip. So for example, I'll just make sure that clip again, but I'm going to do it like this. There we go. All, to be honest, pretty simple. Finally, I'm just going to show you titles. So to put a title in our video, this is a video of some driving here. Again, I'm just going to delete our audio by locking it and deleting the audio. I'll just reiterate the point, I'm just only deleting it for this this tutorial, just so you don't have to just hear the audio of the video all the time. So here we are, we're actually in Nova Scotia in Canada. So I want to add a title. Two ways of adding a title. I want to add a title that will play before my video starts. So I'm going to drag my clip along. Just drag it out the way. I want my title to start here. So what we do is go back to our other screen. And we click this little thing here, title. We can put, there's lots of different things. Again, there's lots of different ways of putting text in, but I'm going to show you the most common. We'll go to text. Okay, I'm going to hit text. I'm just going to call my video. Sorry, I'm going to say what I did then. That's how it'll look like when I set this up. I need to go to controls, the control tab. I'm just going to call it driving in Canada. Then I can, if I want to, I can change the color, style. I can make it bold. Go back to the video tab, and that's how it looks. Now again, if I want to make this bigger, I go to image and wireframe, and I can drag, and I want to put it down here. I can do that. Okay, now we need to get that into our project, so I drag and I drop. And I'm also going to join this clip up. I'm going to put a transition in. It's a very, very short transition, but this is how this will now look. I'm also going to put cross dissolve at the beginning. Okay, that's quite long. Excuse me there. I'm going to shorten this just so we can demonstrate what we're doing. Make a very quick little edit here. We'll put our driving clip back in now. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. And we're back. Okay, now if we don't want a black background, we would rather have, say, that clip over the start of our video. Again, very, very simple to do. What we're going to do is I'm going to scroll up here. I'm going to drag this clip to the beginning. Now, I'm going to go from scratch for you with the with creating the title, just so we can go over that one more time. Okay, so I would like to put, say, something in here. So I'm going to go into text again, text and text. I'm going to call this driving in our car. I'm going to make it bigger, so I'm going to go to image and wireframe, and I'm going to drag it. It's a little bit big, but oh well. It's pixelated a little bit. So I'm now going to drag that, excuse me, I'm going to, first of all, so I go out, back to image. I'm now going to drag that and I'm going to place it over my video. Okay? So again, I'm layering, and it's always going to play what's on top. But because the text has a transparent background, what you're going to find now is it'll play over the video. And I can put some transitions in. Watch how this plays. Driving in our car. So that's how to add a title. Now there are also effects that you can do with Final Cut. I'm not going to go into the details of them here because it's lots to do, but I'll just show you how to put them in and then you can play around with these yourself. So if you've got a clip, again, we're driving in our car, we want to put an effect in for. We click on it to highlight it, then go to Effects, Video Filters, and then you've got all these different things you can do. So just for the fun of it now, I think we're going to go to, let's have a look. Let's go to Color Correction, Desaturate Lows. This is completely at random. There is no reason for why I've done any of this. And we're going to put another one in. Let's go to Perspective, Uncurl. Yeah, this has done something pretty weird. I'm going to take that one away. That's not a good one for me to demonstrate with. Let's go to Sepia. Okay. You'll then see how our clip looks. Now you've noticed something, a green line has appeared on top. Sometimes when you're editing, you'll get a green or a red line appear when you're trying to do something like put audio in or put in a transition. This basically means that we need to just beef up the file a little bit so Final Cut can play it better. So we're going to render that file. If you get a green or red line, you find it might not play back properly. In this case, it's a little choppy, but we want to make it play at its optimum. So you get a green or a red line here. You simply highlight the clip, sequence, render selection, render both. Just hit through anything it gives you. It's now just quickly going to write that video. It'll write that all the way through. Now this is quite a long clip, so we don't want to sit through that. So I'll make the clip shorter just for again to demonstrate. We're just going to go sequence, render, both. And it's going to render a little quicker for us now. Anytime you add an effect or music or some transitions, you'll need to render. Watch now, we should have a smoother play. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm showing you how to output a video file. So I'm going to keep this, and just for us to see a video, I'm going to put the title Driving Our Car back at the beginning. It actually appears I've gone successfully lost that clip. So I'll put any old clip in. Let's do the clip of the food going on the table. Again, going to delete the audio. Just going to try and put a transition in as well. Okay, so I don't want to make this a clip that I can upload to YouTube. It's very simple to do. I keep saying that, it's very simple to do. Okay, I think Final Cut can be quite complicated, so ignore me if I keep saying that. So I want to put this now as a video that I'm going to put on YouTube. This is my project, it's complete. I've got my music in, I've got my titles in, everything's there. The way to get it onto YouTube is to go to File, Export, using QuickTime Conversion. Now there's some settings here that we're going to need to set. First thing is our name. So I'm just going to call this example video 1. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Then I need to go to options. Okay. Now to get onto YouTube in HD, on the settings tab, go to keyframes. Every, change that to 30 frames. Make sure you set to H.264 at the top. Key every 30 frames. Drag this up to best. Under data rate, go to restrict to 1800 kilobits per second. So H.264, key every 30 frames. Set it to best, it'll probably go back to high, and then like it's done here, that's fine. Data rate, restrict to 1800 kilobits per second. Okay, don't worry about filter. Go to size. Drop this down to HD 1280 by 720, 60 by 9. Don't worry about PAL or NTSC or any of these, just go into HD 1280 by 720, 16 by 9. Then click De-interlace source video and click OK. You can then click OK, and we can click Save. It's now going to render this project for us. Now it shouldn't take too long to render because it's a relatively short project. But I normally say if you're doing a video of 2.5 to 3 minutes, you're looking at a rendering time possibly of an hour or two. It all depends on how fast your editing system is. It also depends on how complicated your video file is, what elements are in there. If you've got lots of transitions, if you've got lots of speed changes, lots of effects, it's going to take a long time. If you're using chroma key, if you don't know what chroma key is, do not worry. It's an incredibly complicated part of editing that you'll probably never use. If you do use chroma key, you'll find again that it'll take you a long time to render. So we're just going to let this render. You'll find it starts slow and it speeds up. See those numbers are increasing a little bit quicker every second. Okay, halfway through. One drawback of HD video is it takes a long time to render, but by rendering it's breaking the video file down, it's finalizing it into one compressed video that you can then use as you wish. Okay, we're done. If we go back to our desktop here, I've got my video file, example video 1, and I can now play this. I've got to fit the screen, so I'm not going to go to full screen, and we can play our video. And this is now the actual video file playing that we just created. And that's good for us to upload that raw file straight to YouTube. The other thing you can do is if you're looking to make a DVD, you can't burn a DVD through Final Cut. So, or if you can, I've never done it. This is the way I do it. But I don't think you can, but correct me if I'm wrong. Go into your applications, and then you want to look for iDVD. Open up iDVD, and then from within that you can go and upload to, sorry, burn to DVD. Okay, so that's pretty much Final Cut. A couple of quick tips. Don't worry, make mistakes, you will make them. In respect of that, every 2 or 3 minutes, please save your work. The number of times I've deleted hours of work and not been able to get it back. In fact, just before making this demonstration, I was using my Mac and the whole thing locked. I was using Final Cut Pro and I had to unfortunately reset the system and I lost my work. So do save every couple of minutes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The other thing is to experiment. You can always hit that magic undo button. Make experiments, put different video filters in, change colors, do whatever you want. You can always undo it. If you get stuck on anything, go to YouTube. YouTube is brilliant for finding extra tutorial videos, for getting tips. The most specific things I've had to deal with, for example, like erasing somebody's leg from a shot. There'll be someone that has come across that and has put a tutorial video on YouTube. Also go to online articles. The help system on Apple's Final Cut website is also very good. That's a good place to turn to. But most of all, just keep at it. You will find you might get a bit frustrated at the beginning, but stick with it. The longer you stick with it, the quicker you'll learn. And I actually find Final Cut difficult to demonstrate to people because I just work in automatic mode. I can't tell you how I do things half the time, I just do them. And you'll get to that stage where you can just edit at will. But most of all, have fun. It's a great program and the very best of luck. So I'll conclude that tutorial here and enjoy.